I got the scimitar on the rolling road for a whole day fairly recently. I did a lot of different power runs, running the car in different gears. So I actually got to a very, very high wheel torque figure, actual torque at the wheel on the roller. And I think I've begun to detect slip. So it's going to be with cars something around about 500 horsepower point. I want to address it. So you can stick things on the rollers. You can paint with sand in it. Put that on the rollers. You can knurl it, that's quite difficult, but it can be done, or you can groove it. So the difficulty here is I've had these rollers balanced and it cost £1,000 to have all four done, and I don't want to do that again if I can help it. So this might sound absolutely crazy, but hear me out. I'm going to use an angle grinder to cut slots in the rollers. So what I need to do is concentrate on how I can ensure I don't lose the balance to a point where I can detect the vibration or feel the vibration, you know. So my plan, this is my crazy rig that I've come up with. This is the angle grinder and it is on a rail. At this extreme end it can sit, the angle grinder sits on there and then it moves off, drops onto the roller and goes along. And then at the very end, when it touches here, I quickly lift it up and lift the grinder off the roller and stop the process. So the lathe is what's pulling it along. So you can see here it is winding around a small steel bar, and that's working nicely. I've got it going very slowly, obviously, so it takes about 40 seconds to do a single slot, and then I stop it, lift it up and bring it back. So I've been learning a lot about what affects the cut. So here's some practices I've done. This is one of the latter ones. I'm getting pretty close to something I'm happy with now. A load more test pieces. I've done flipping loads of them. Different depths, different spacings and things. I'm quite pleased with the spacing on these ones here. They're very uniform. And these are some of the more early attempts. But one thing I have noticed is it adds an awful lot of grip. When you drag a tyre across it, it makes a heck of a difference when it's got the slots in it. So here is a time lapse. You can see the process in action. So I'm still grinding these test pieces. That's 2 cuts, and then I find the disc clogs up shortly after that. So you can see I'm declogging it now. There we go. And then off again with the next 2 cuts. And I'm experimenting at this point with the gap, getting the spacing perfect. It's a bit scary, but I think it's time to actually cut a roller, which is crazy. It's going to take me 10 hours or something like that. There we go, first cut. So I'm controlling the pressure with gravity, I'm controlling the time with the lathe and the speed. The thing I can't control is disc wear. As it wears down, it might well cut less. I didn't actually find that this was the case. It seemed to cut the same no matter how big the disc was, but I wanted to control it anyway. And the obvious way to control it, well, it wasn't obvious to be honest, but it's obvious now I say it, is to cut one side and then cut the other side. So I'm cutting this roller on 2 sides basically. So I do 2 cuts, and then I spin the roller around 180 degrees and I do 2 cuts on that side, and I just continue on like that. So anywhere in the disc will have an even effect on both sides, and if everything else is controlled, it should be exactly in balance really. So every now and again you can see a blue mark on there. Now I check the spacing on both sides of the roller 180 degrees apart and make it exactly match with the calipers, and then off I go again, do another 20 or so cuts and then check it again. And that's it, the grinder has given up. I should have heeded the warning signs and taken it out earlier, but it's given up halfway through a groove, which is quite bad. Bad news. Completely free there. Knackered. That's annoying. The grinder's 20 years old and I've got to find another one that fits the jig. I found another one and it was a Bosch and it fits perfectly, and it's done the entire rest of the rolling road, which is great. You can see me finishing off the first roller here. Very satisfying to get it done, really. I mean, really, that was a lot of work. That's it, folks, the last cut on this roller. Look at the spacing. Now that was just by pure fluke. That's come out so well. Very lucky. Amazing. That whole roller is done. I'm so chuffed. Alright, here we go, the The last cut for these two rollers. The machine is set up, it's ready to go. Here we go. That's it. This one is done. 272 cuts. And that one also. Oh, I've been a bit more accurate with this. The spacing is pretty uniform. You can see there are differences, but it's a lot more uniform. I had a new method, and also the clamping device I had on here. When you do something, what would it be, over 500 times, you make mistakes, and a couple of times I forgot to tighten that clamp up, which holds this from rotating, and it didn't make a blind bit of difference, so I took it off. I've saved quite a bit of time with that as well. So the next thing is to get the car on the two smooth rollers. So these are completely free, but rotating. Spin them up to a high speed, and I'm just going to put my hand on and see if I can feel any vibration in any of the four bearings. And fingers crossed, I'm good. This is what I've been doing all this work for, and why I've been so meticulous to try and do it without losing any balance. Today's the day I try it. I know they're going to add an absolute ton of grip. I'm not testing for that at all. I'm testing for balance. I want to know if I've completely ruined the balance or not. So I'm just going to get it up to speed, have Mrs. Loz drive it, and put my hands on the bearings and just see if I can detect anything. And that'll be it. I'm gonna call that done if that's fine. And if it's smooth, then that's it. Let's give it a go. If you remember in the last video, I put a massive flat spot on the back tyre of the scimitar, so you can see it bouncing around here. It's absolutely useless. I don't know what the hell's vibrating and what's not. So next I tried the Passat we have. That doesn't have round tyres either. And then I tried the trusty little Civic. It's got the roundest tyres of all the cars we're in, which is quite annoying. And there's a vibration, and it's on this side. So I've actually disconnected this roller so that the car can do a run-up without that one, and the vibration is exactly the same. So I'm very pleased. That's a lot of money saved. You can actually see it in this footage. The whole car's bouncing up and down a little bit, and it is imparting that vibration on the rolling road. So I could really do with one more car which had round wheels to test this, but I'm pretty happy that it's not the roller that's causing that vibration now, which is great. I was almost giving up. It's like, it's definitely the roller, it's definitely the roller. And then this one is sat doing nothing and the vibration is still there. So that's really good news. So a lot of cars have got this issue. The tyres aren't round. If they've spent some months parked in the same location or something, it ruins the tyres. On the road, you just don't feel it. It's not really a problem until it gets very bad. But on the rolling road, you can definitely feel it. The rollers are completely round and beautifully balanced, and I felt it all of last year before I made any of these cuts. You know, most cars do not have round tyres. You know. But yeah, as you can see, I disconnected that roller. The vibration was exactly the same. I've now done quite a bit of testing with all four rollers cut, and I've done a few shows as well, and it's absolutely brilliant. The grip is epic, and there's no issues with balance. So I'm really pleased. I'm calling that a massive success. It was quite a scary thing to do, really. Everybody sort of said, "What the hell are you doing with an angle grinder?" But it worked. I'm really happy with it. So after nearly 1,100 grooves, it comes down to this last one. There it is, and it is about to happen.